Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Benny and Booth Podcast. Just gonna get everything set up and we'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's day's going well, weekend's going well, week's going well. Good to be back. Alrighty. Alright, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Benny and the Booth Podcast. Thank you all so much for the support to this point. Very much do appreciate it. One life update. I did mention on the thumbnail, and I did mention this in I posted a whole on community tab and on TikTok and YouTube Shorts sit over while I took a break. But if you have missed it, I have a life update from that last TikTok/YouTube short. Nothing too bad. Just let's see if I can get this enough figure this. Not really. Or no, maybe. I think now. Now you probably see it here. So yeah, I got a book on my foot recently. Pretty much I was playing wiffle ball in the backyard when I was by my dad and tripped over something and led to a small fracture in my fibula. So I'm gonna be in a boot for a bit. It's not as much. It's not really hurting much too. Very little compared to originally. I'm definitely doing a lot better than I was at that time, but wanted to at least give an update and let you guys all know that. It ain't gonna film podcast, so I should be able to do it. Also heads up, there depending on weather, which is really the main factor because tickets are pretty cheap for it at this point. But depending on weather, there's a good chance I might be at Browns Jets at MetLife November 9th. Yes, I'm aware it's not the most exciting game to go to in the world, but given both teams suck anyways, and the Browns have a good chance that they could win that game, and it's a chance for me to see the Browns play New York/New Jersey. I'd say there's a good that as long as the weather isn't going to be rain, good chance I end up going. Like, I don't mind if it's cold, but if it's going to be rainy MetLife, I'm not trying to go to MetLife again in the rain. That was not fun last year. Jets and Falcons. Hey, that was a mess. So, depending on weather, there's a chance I might be going to that game. Just at the end of the day, it comes down to if the weather will cooperate or not. But we'll see. And then there's also WWE show coming up that I might be going to. I also might be probably be doing something around my birthday because my birthday is a Sunday this year, and the Browns are home on my birthday this year against the 49ers. But we'll see what happens as we get closer to it. Also, once again, we're doing Wednesdays just because it's like easiest day for me to do with my class schedule and stuff. Oddly enough, today I am on Zoom and I have class at 4:25. But I have until then to do today's episode. But once after like early January, then I'm gonna be done with school, hopefully for good, and it's podcast and work. But we'll see what happens as things play along. I still got a lot left of the semester before I can even think about post college, really. And yeah, that's pretty much a scoop. But let's dive right into it. So today's immaculate grade, we have Rangers, Mets born outside the 50 states and DC, and then Twins, Dodgers, and 30 plus homer season batting. Also, I will say my playoff predictions were pretty bad this year. I can already tell you. All right. Rangers and Twins. Where can I go here? Didn't am I mixing up with the J? No, 2%. I'll take that. Mets Twins. I could go Johan Santana, of course, but that's gonna be way too obvious. Mm. Um. Hmm. Mets Twins. Oh, Michael Cuggedire. 3%. I will take that. Twins born outside U.S. 50 states and D.C. Um. Well, I want to go for Twins international player. No, he's for sure gonna be up there. David Ortiz, I'm mad. It's gonna be a good percent. Uh, could go Rod Carew, but he might be more obvious also. I'm gonna go Tony Olivo. 5%, I will take that. Dodgers Rangers, I could go Eric Gagne. I'm gonna go that 1%, I will take that. Dodgers Mets, I could go Sean Green. 2%, I will take that. Dodgers born inside of 50 states, US 50 states, and DC. I could go Freddie. I could technically go Freddie here. Random fun thrower. I don't know. He might actually be born. I don't know. I forget. His whole thing's. He's got a whole thing with. I forget. I don't know if he was born in Canada or not. Um. Oof. I've got someone. 6%. I'll take that. 30 plus homer season for the Rangers. I could go Beltre. I could go Hamilton. I could go A-Rod. I imagine Pudge probably close, if not, would have gotten it. Um, the Ranger 30 plus homers. So, would Prince Fielder have done it, or you not play here? I mean, he didn't play that much for Texas. No, but got actually pretty close in 2015. It's 23. His last 30 homer season was Detroit in 2012. Eh. Um, who else can I go? 30 plus homer season, Texas. I imagine Luke Wright. No way that Luke Wright got that many. Rangers was a midline pickup of Beltran. Did Rougned Odor have done it? I know Joey Gallo for sure. Odor did. I'm honestly gonna go him. 1%, I will take that. I could go Beltran. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go Beltran here. 0.8%, I will take that. And then 30 plus homer season Mets. I could go David. I'm pretty sure David Wright's done it. I think he's probably gonna be obvious. I wonder if you've done it. Nope, the most he had was 16. Uh, chance you. Yes, actually. I'm gonna go fun answer. Another Jew used on this grid. Ike Davis. 1%, I'll take that. Total rarity score is 23. So top answers for each category. Rangers Twins at 24%, Nelson Cruz. That makes sense. Mets Twins at 31%, Johan Santana. Twins born outside of 50 U.S. 50 states and D.C. at 10% is David Ortiz. I did not expect him to be the top answer. Rangers Dodgers at 22% is Corey Seager. Dodgers Mets at 20% is Mike Piazza. Dodgers born outside of 50 U.S. 50 states and D.C. Fernando Valenzuela at 14%. 30 plus homer season batting with the Rangers, 21% Josh Hamilton. 30 plus homer season batting with the Mets at 22% is Pete Alonso. And 30 plus homer season batting with born outside 50 U.S. 50 states and D.C. at 10% is David Ortiz. All right, switch over to daily walk-off. We're doing the Brewers and the Brewers. It's all one set category, just split over different years. Triples. 1997, 2005, 2012, and 2024. Brian Hunter, Carlos Guillen, Kerry Carpenter, Wenzel Perez, Curtis Pride, Bobby Higginson, Quinton Berry, Brandon Inge, Nick Logan, Riley Green, Andy Dirks, Johnny Peralta. So I know Green, Perez, and Carpenter would be 2024. Berry, Dirks, and Peralta would be 2006. Honestly, I might have nailed this. Or almost nailed it. Switch these two and finish with a walk-off double. And they don't have to be in order, by the way. They just, as long as they fit the category. Top answers, top 3 in triples from 1997, Brian Hunter, Curtis Pride, Bobby Higginson. 2005, top 4 in triples, Brandon Inge, Carlos Guillen, Nick Logan. 2012, top 5 in triples, Quinton Berry, Andy Dirks, Johnny Peralta. And 2024, top 6 in triples, Riley Green, Wenzel Perez, and Kerry Carpenter. And for the Brewers, same categories, same years, just different players. Jeremy Burrett, Freddie Clark, Sal Frelick, Christian Yelich, Corey Hart, Bill Hart, Carlos Gomez, Bryce Turang, Mark Loretta. Yelich, Turang, and Frelick are going to be 2024. Gomez, Hart, and Aoki will be 2012. Hall, honestly, let's submit this and see where this goes. And literally going to get the same amount of both categories. Walk-off double. How about that? So, full correct answers for the Brewers. 1997, top 3 in triples. Jeremy Burnett, Matt Meesk, Mark Loretta. 2005, top 4 in triples. Bill Hall, Brady Clark, Doug Davis. 2012, top 5 in triples. Nori Aoki, Corey Hart, Carlos Gomez. And 2024, top 6 in triples. Christian Yelich, Bryce Turang, Al Frelick. Just give me a moment. All right. So MLB postseason. Definitely a lot of things that were expected to happen and a lot of things that weren't expected to happen. Wild card series, the Cubs beat the Padres in 3 games, which already busted my World Series pick. I was like happy to see the Cubs advance because honestly, I was just more of like, as long as they don't get swept, I'd be happy, and they didn't get swept in the end when they got out. But that definitely surprised me that they won that series against the Padres, but it was huge to not be swept. I did not want to relive 2020 all over again, that wild card series. Oh Lord, that was rough. But really outside of that game, outside of game 2 where the Padres won, it was pretty much Cubs all series long. The Padres were not able, like, the problem they had was, like, of their 3 starters, Cease was the only good one. Pivetta was roughed. Darvish didn't last that long, and then the bullpen gave pretty much the game away. And then Cease was the only good one. Yeah, pretty much just like that series summed up in a few words. Also, oddly enough, we had 3 of the 4 wildcard series go to best of 5, which is I think might be tied for most since they started the wildcard series, including 2020, not including 2021, which did not have the wildcard series and was just game. It's 2020, White Sox went 3. White Sox, A's went 3 games. The Padres Cardinals went 3 games. Cubs, Marlins, no. Reds, Braves, no. Dodgers, Brewers, no. And then you have Astros, Twins, no. Cleveland, New York, no. And then, yeah, so this would be the last series to go the full 3 games. And and the Dodgers, well, they were the one series that didn't, as they like easily breezed past the Reds. I mean, that wasn't much of competition. Though the Reds did expose their bullpen, but they've pretty much figured out their bullpen problem by putting Roki Sasaki in their bullpen, which honestly was probably smart. Is looking like a absolute genius move. He's only had one bad game out of the bullpen. Otherwise, he's been lights out out of the bullpen for the Dodgers. Like a big move on their part to save their dire bullpen in this playoffs. But yeah, that series was not much competitive besides for when the Reds were exposing the Dodgers bullpen. Otherwise, it was not really competitive. It was just all Dodgers. Um, Guardians Tigers was one heck of a series. Went full 3 games, and Tigers just were able to get a big blowout win in Game 3 to advance. Also, kind of funny how Dylan Dingler, who's apparently a Cleveland native, had the go-ahead homer in that Game 3 for the Tigers against Cleveland in Cleveland. And then you had Yankees Red Sox. It was like the Red Sox took game 1. It was like, well, it looks like the Red Sox are going to be winning this series. And then the Yankees like roared back to life, winning the next 2 games to advance. It's like, well, never mind. Yeah. I mean, like the Red Sox had one good game, and the rest were pretty bad. Uh, Especially since the Game 3, all the runs were scored in 1 inning. But that was pretty much the wild card series. I got the Cubs pick wrong. I think I got the other ones right, though, besides for Cubs. Yeah. So I do think I picked, no, I think I picked Cleveland. So, I mean, either way, my bracket's busted, and we'll get to that. Division series wise, Cubs and Brewers, that was something for their first ever meeting. Brewers won in 5 games, 3 games to 2. I was just happy the Cubs didn't get swept again, though they had a lot of chances to come back in Game 5, and they blew it. That could have been a game they could have won easily, and they could have won, but they just couldn't flip the momentum around. Dodgers, Phillies was pretty much Dodgers all series long, except for Game 3, which the Phillies won. Like, really, outside of that game, Dodgers like pretty much handled the Phillies all series. There were a few rough moments here and there, but I mean, the walk-off says it all. I mean, literally a chopper back to the pitcher with 2 outs, runners. I think it was like bases loaded, 2 outs, and all you have to do is just throw the ball to first. And instead, he tries to throw the ball home, and he throws the ball away, and the base runner actually misses home plate. So if he had actually made the throw properly, they probably would have been out of the inning. But instead, he airmails the throw, and the Dodgers walked off. And now, well, we'll get to LCS in a moment. But yeah, Orion Kirkering had a oof moment. People were comparing him to Bill Buckner, which I think is a little bit too far. Because Bill Buckner was World Series, whereas not Orion Kirk, whereas with this one was just was the division series. Underrated, the division series wasn't even around when Buckner play happened. There's only championship series, which was that was like one of the first years of best of 7 championship series, and then the World Series. So for context, just run through this. I do happen to know this. So when the World Series originally started in 1903, it used to be just the World Series until 1968. It had gone between 8 game, best of 8, best of 9, to best of 7 eventually. And then 1969, which when they turned baseball into 4 divisions, 2 within each league. That's when they brought in the championship series concept. But that was only best of 5 at the time, and it didn't turn into best of 7 until 1985. But then in 1981, due to the strike, they had an interesting format with the playoffs where the top record of each division first half and the top record of each division in the second half are the ones that make the playoffs, which led to the first ever division series, and then championship series, and then World Series. But that only lasted in 1981, and the division series didn't really fully become a thing until 1995, after the divisions had been moved to 6 divisions. And then wild card game didn't come around and the wild card team concept came around once the division series fully came around in 1995. And then in uh and then in 2012 was when they started the wild card series concept, and with the Braves Cardinals infamous infield fly rule game, and then the Orioles Rangers game that no one really talks about anymore. And then in 2020 they had the first run of the wild card series. That was also more just because of COVID. And then uh 2022 they officially since 2022 they officially have gone under the wild card series format permanently. And then so yeah, ALDS. Detroit Seattle was one heck of a series, ending on a walk-off RBI single by Jorge Polanco. And then Yankees Blue Jays. Yankees just really had a rough series. I mean, they had one good game with like a few good innings, and other than that, like the Blue Jays pretty much just had their number the entire series, besides for Game 3. ALCS was one back and forth series, though also had some blowouts. I will say I think Springer should have won MVP. How do you not have a go ahead home run in a clutch situation like that and not give him the MVP award? I get Vlad's been having a very good postseason. I'll give him that credit. Fine, fair enough. But to give Vlad the MVP over Springer, who literally hit the dinger that pretty much sent them to the World Series, that was not the right call. I'm sorry, but that was not the right call. If you want to disagree, you can disagree in the comments and live chat, but I do not agree. I think it should have gone to Springer. They at least give and speaking about the LCS, NLCS MVP, NLCS between Dodgers and Brewers. Dodgers pretty much had the series from beginning to end. And the funny thing was, so I keep Sabbath for those that don't know. I get the paper. I see the paper on Saturday mornings through some of my family. And so in the paper they say who won the NLCS game 4. They say that Ohtani had 3 homers in 6 innings with 10 strikeouts. They don't say the MVP, and until I was able to find out, I was like, I'm just gonna presume it was Ohtani based on performance game 4. But then again, like I've learned don't assume anything, but I ended up being correct. Ohtani was MVP, which I think was the right call. Um, but yeah, and so now we are at a Dodgers Blue Jays World Series, which starts on Friday from Rogers Center, with the Blue Jays having home field advantage. Do I think the Blue Jays could pull this off? Maybe. Am I predicting the Blue Jays to pull this off? No. Am I secretly wanting the Blue Jays to win than the Dodgers? Yeah, but realistically, the Dodgers are probably going to win back to back, and I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to be able to stop them. And like even home field hasn't even mattered that much in this playoffs. Dodgers have been playing without home field advantage, except pretty much every series with a wild card series, and here we are, and they're back in the World Series. So like, and it hasn't really mattered. So I don't know. And that's pretty much it for postseason recap. So I'm gonna go over. So for NFL, I'm just gonna go over how my predictions have gone the last few weeks, and then this week's predictions. Share this tab. So I did post some of these records, but I'm gonna just go through them all here. Week 4, I went 8-7. Here's what I got right and what I got wrong from that week. That was like my first rough week of the season, I think. Yeah. Week 5, I had a rough week going 7-7, but this was also the week or no, this wasn't the week. I think it was the week before. I think week 4. I think was week 4 was the game with the tie. But week 5, I had a bit of a rough week, 7-7. Then week 8, week 6, I bounced back with a 9-6, which is not great, but definitely not the best of records, but definitely more of a bounce back. And then this past week, I had a very good week with an 11-3 record, having predicted the Browns correctly, and then a whole bunch, most of these I apparently didn't put in that pick. Or I did, but they didn't count it. What? I don't know. I'm not gonna ask questions. And now week 8 predictions. So kicks off Thursday night. Vikings at Chargers 8:15. I have the Chargers. Falcons hosting the Dolphins 1 p.m. on CBS. I have the Falcons. Jets at Bengals 1 p.m. on CBS. I have the Bengals. Browns at Patriots 1 p.m. on Fox. I have the Patriots. Giants and Eagles 1 p.m. on Fox. I have the Eagles. Bills at Panthers 1 o'clock on Fox. I have the Bills. Bears at Ravens 1 p.m. on CBS. I have the Bears. 49ers at Texans 1 p.m. on Fox. I have the 49ers. Buccaneers at Saints 1 p.m. 4:05 on Fox. I have the Buccaneers. Broncos hosting the Cowboys 4:25 on CBS. I have the Broncos. Colts hosting the Titans 4:25 on CBS. I have the Colts. Packers at Steelers Sunday Night Football 8:20 on NBC. I have the Packers. And Monday Night Football Chiefs hosting the Commanders for 8:15 on ABC/ESPN. So that is it for NFL recap since we've been away. Oh yeah, also, well, I haven't even done. I forgot about standings, and I'm gonna leave off standings. Then I'm gonna give general, just like the upsets that have happened since last episode for college football. I'm not gonna go through all the matchups. I'm just go through like the upsets. UCLA. So this is going back to week 6 college football. UCLA upset number 7 Penn State 42-37. Florida upset number 9 Texas 29-21. Number 10 Alabama beat number 16 Vanderbilt 30-14. Well, I guess not really an upset, but was there any other? Cincinnati beat number 14 Iowa State 38-30. Nothing else from week 6. Week 7 was the week where Ohio State whooped Illinois, and people were thinking, "Oh, Ohio State's going to be upset," and they get 3 takeaways from Illinois in the win. In number 7, Indiana beat number 3 Oregon at Oregon 30-20. Also, Ohio State's win was at Illinois, which was like a big road win. Texas beat number 6 Oklahoma 23-6. USC beat number 15 Michigan 31-13. Utah beat number 21 Arizona State 42-10. Colorado beat number 22 Iowa State 24-17. And Pitt beat number 25 Florida State 34-31. And from this past week, college football, week 8, Louisville beat number 2 Miami 24-21. Minnesota beat number 25 Nebraska 24-6. Number 9 Georgia beat number 5 Ole Miss 43-35. Arizona State beat number 7 Texas Tech 26-22. Number 17 Vandy beat number 10 LSU 31-24. Anything else? And UAB beat number 22 Memphis 31-24. So that is it for catching up. And then this week's matchups to look out for of ranked versus ranked. Number 8 Ole Miss visiting number 13 Oklahoma 12 p.m. on ABC Saturday. All these games are going to be Saturday, by the way, I'm reading off. Number 15 Missouri visiting number 10 Vandy 3:30 on ESPN. Number 3 Texas A&M visiting number 20 LSU 7:30 on ABC. And that's it for the ranked versus ranked matchups. And that's it for this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're new to YouTube, leave a like and subscribe on the notification bell so notify when I go live and post a new video. If you're new in audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, hit notification bell so notify when I post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will see you next week's episode 191. Bye-bye.